Hello friends, welcome back. In previous lecture, we have seen how can we merge changes from one branch to another branch. In this lecture, we are going to see merge conflicts. First of all, let's understand what is merge conflict. Whenever we are trying to merge our code from one branch to another branch, if there is some conflicts, then the merge conflict will happen on Git. In this case, both the developers are trying to update the same code, or while I was thinking to do some updates, if somebody do the changes on same line, then the merge conflicts happens. Let's see this one with practical. For that one, we need two developers. Now I am going to use developer 2 as well to create merge conflict. Then we'll see how we can resolve it. This is my local system. Let's assume that developer 1 is working over here. At this moment, we have 5 files and each file has some content. At the same time, we have developer 2, which we have created some time back, and I'm going to log into this system. So let's take the public IP. There is some changes in the dashboard of AWS console. That's okay. This is public IP. I'm taking public IP. Let's connect to this system. I'm opening my key. EC2 minus user. So I'm logging into my system. This is developer 2 system. And let me switch to root user, and if I do here, I have a repository called demo repo. We have updated it some time back, so we need to pull the code if I want to see the latest code. Let me pull the changes. So git pull we need to do. Let's do this one. If you do remember, in our previous lectures we have created one more branch called test as well. Now if I check for git branch, it is showing master. Why? Because if we want to see the additional branch, we need to switch to the test branch, then only we can see those updates. Let me switch. Before that, let me give git log. You can see here head is representing to the master and the test is over here. Because test branch we just created to add only file 1 and we have committed those changes. Actually, once we have committed our code, we can remove the old branch because it is not necessary to keep it, right? Once we have updated with the master branch. But anyway, let it be. Now, if I want to see code of the git test, before that, if I do ls, I can see all the files. Where if I switch to test branch git checkout test, you can see you have switched to the test, and if I do ls, I can see only 4 files. Why? Because file 5 is not there in the test branch. Anyway, our objective is to create merge conflicts, but before that I'm making sure that you can pull all the changes which are done by the other developer onto your system. That is the intention. Now I'm switching back to my master branch, checkout master. Now let's assume that I'm modifying a file 2. Let's open file 2. I will write some content on file 2, that is vi file 2. I'm just updating this content to this is file 2. Instead of that one, I have named it as file 2. Okay, so I have updated some content in the file 2. Now let's do git status. Okay, these changes are there. Meantime, what I will do, I am updating the same file as a other user. This is my developer 1 user, right? So if I do git status, okay, nothing is there, and if I do git log, same commits you can see over here. And before changing anything, I'm going to pull my code from my git repository. So git pull, if I do, there is nothing to pull from the remote repository because it is already up to date. Now here also, as a developer 1, I am updating file 2. Okay, sorry, I should not update over here. I'm going to create a new branch from master. I haven't updated anything on file 2. So I'm going to create git checkout -b. So this option is going to help us to create the branch, at the same time switch on to the branch. This time I'm going to create a branch called dev. So what does it do? It is going to create a branch called dev and we'll switch to the dev branch. Otherwise, we can do git branch dev. So it creates the branch, then git checkout dev. We will switch on to dev, right? Instead of running 2 commands, we can run 1 command which creates the dev branch, as well as we have shifted or switched from master to dev. And if I do git log now, okay, we have 3 branches at this moment, and we are working on dev branch and master is an inactive branch. and even we have the test branch as well. Okay, we can ignore test branch for this example. Now what I am going to do is, if I do, I could see same content what is there in the master branch. Now I am going to update file2 on dev branch. So here what I will do, this file name is file2. Okay, so as a developer one, what I am doing, I am just updating the same content of the same file what is updated by the developer 2, what is updated by the developer 2. Now if I do wq and if I do file2, you can see here this file name is file2, and same thing if I see over here, I have named it as a file2, but actual content what was there earlier. So this is our Docker demo repository, right? If you see the content of file2, okay, so actual content was there, this is file2. Now developer 1 has taken this file and updated it as a, this file name is file2. At the same time, developer 2 also taken the same code and he has updated this file as a, I have named it as a file2, which means that two developers are updating same file and same line of code. Now assume that developer 2 has pushed his changes to the remote repository. For that, he has to add this code to the remote repository, right? So git status, if I do, it is not yet added to my local repo. So git add to add it to the staging. So git status again, git commit -m updated file2. Okay. So I have done the local commit. Now I will push it into the remote repository. So git push origin master. Okay. Now we have pushed our changes onto remote repository, and remote repository is accepts these changes. Why? Because whatever code is there in the remote repository, same code you have pulled into your local system and you have updated. So there is no problem with the commits. So git log if I do, so this is the latest commit which we have done, even we have pushed into the remote system, so there is no problem. Remote server, I mean to say GitHub, there is no problem. Now if I refresh it, you can see I have named it as a file2, which means that developer 2 has updated the file2, that is the latest commit. But as a developer 1, still I am working on file2 as well. Now I would like to add this content to my master branch, then I will push to the remote repository, right? That is what I need to do. So to merge this code onto the master branch, I have to switch to the master branch. Before that one, I should commit these changes onto the dev branch. Okay, without committing these changes onto the dev branch, you cannot able to merge the changes. So let's add this one. So git status, if I see, we have one modified file on the dev branch. So I need to add these changes to the dev branch. Git add dot git commit -m file2 updated. Okay, so just I'm giving the file2 updated as my commit. This commit ID can be anything or equal to other commit also, there is no issue. Okay, so we have committed onto dev branch, and if I do git log, you can just see our master is here, but our dev is ahead with the one extra commit. Now I would like to add this commit to the master branch. To do that one, I need to shift onto master branch, or I need to check out into master branch, right? So git checkout master. So I have shifted onto master branch. Now I would like to merge my changes. But actually, whenever you are merging your changes, it is always best practice that you need to pull the code onto your local system. Why? Because your remote repository may updated by the time. So for that one, I'm going to do git pull. Okay, git pull, whenever I do, it is going to pull the latest changes from the remote repository. But in the latest changes, what is there? A file2 has been updated. So if I open the file2, you can see here, I have named it as file2. That is the update we have received. But at the same time, as a dev branch, I have updated same file, and I'm just switching on to dev branch. Git checkout dev. In dev branch, if I see file2, okay, this file name is file2 is there. Now I would like to merge this file2 changes onto this file2, which is there in the master. Okay, again git checkout master, and git merge dev. Okay, what I am doing, whatever changes I have done in the dev branch, I am trying to commit onto the master branch. Now what exactly does it happen is, whenever we were creating dev branch, file2 content was something else, not this one, right? So that one I have updated to this one. I am still assuming that this master is still having the old content only. It is having old content, only myself updated the same code, so I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to push it. Now let's see what will happen. So I'm doing git merge, and you can just see auto merge file to conflict. It is saying that conflict, merge conflict in file2. It is saying that there is a merge conflict in file2 and auto merge is failed. Fix conflicts and then commit the result. It is saying that there is some problem in the file2. You need to fix those before committing it. So what is the problem? Just if you go to our history, we can understand more clearly. So this is our previous commit, right? So if I open this commit, you can clearly understand. You can just see earlier the content was this is file2, but developer2 has updated this one as a this has named it as a file2. Okay, but our dev branch is still thinking that the content of file2 is this is file2 only. So it is trying to update the this is file2, but whenever it is trying to update, it has seen that there is some change. Somebody is already changed it, or else it has to update with its own commit. Due to that one, it has created a git conflict. So hopefully you understand why git conflict happens. Whenever two developers are trying to update same file and same line of code, then merge conflicts happens. Now how can we resolve merge conflicts? It's quite simple, because whoever is created that merge conflict, they have to sit together and understand that which commits should be going to the git repository. Those commits they have to do. Now if I open my file2, earlier file2 have just I have named it as a file2, and if I open this one now, you can see the both the lines. Okay, these two lines are there, and it is saying that it was having, I have named it as a file2, and you are trying to update this line from the dev branch. Okay, this is the head nothing but at this moment master branch. So now there is merge conflict. Now we need to edit and sit with the developer too and understand whether do we need this code to make it work or this code to make it work, and what is the intention of updating this code. And even I have to tell that what is the intention of updating this code. That's how they sit together and update the file. Now I need both the lines. Then I will just keep both, and if I do this one and if I do git log again, so now it is not yet committed. Now we need to commit it. So git log, if sorry, git status. Git status if I do. Okay. Now we have updated file to git add dot git commit -m resolved. Okay. We are just giving that resolved merge conflicts on file 2. And if I do git log, now you can see one more latest commit where master branch have the latest commit. Your dev branch is still at lower. Why? Because we have updated something as a master branch. Now I can push my changes. Git push origin master. So whenever we do this one, this file get updated with the two lines, not a single line. All right. Now if I go back to my code, you can see here Revd has resolved the merge conflict on file 2, and if I go to file 2, you can see the both the lines. This is how we can resolve merge conflicts. All right, that's all for this lecture, and see you in the next lecture.